Hello everybody, I'm Beetwolf and welcome to the State of Souls. In this video, as the title suggests, we'll be discussing everything from the current condition of the Souls franchise and from software in general. Starting off with Night Rain, in fact. I have got a few notes here, by the way, but it is kind of an off-the-cuff video. I've been yearning to speak to somebody about all of this, and I feel like it's the best time because the state of From Software is at the most interesting point maybe ever at the moment, with the direction that they seem to be taking, or maybe not. We'll discuss that, and I want to get a lot of things off my chest in terms of discussing, and I feel like it's good to get a bit of feedback from you guys on how you feel too. So beginning with Night Rain, I personally love the game. I think it's a ton of fun. To explain a little about the game, you get placed into a world with two other players. You battle through 3 days. Day 1, you search around, find as much loot as you can. Upgrades for your weapons, new weapons, healing items, so on and so forth. At the end of day 1, you will battle a boss together. At the start of day 2, once the day 1 boss has been felled, you continue again for another full day. And at the end of day 3, you get one of the Night Lords to face, which is, a much harder boss. However, if all 3 of you guys go down at the same time on one of the boss fights, being the end of day boss fights, that run is over. You will need to restart from scratch again in a new world, new run through, and gather up all the gear again and fight potentially different bosses on that run. Probably the greatest run back in Souls history, a whole 40 minutes if you make it to day 3 and die, but there you go.
So, speaking about the Night Lords in particular,
some of them can be very interesting. I did enjoy the bosses in the game. I have finished it completely, but it's interesting to see now that they've released a few little updates. I've been seeing a lot of action from Adele with even more AoE damages, attack patterns, so to speak. But yeah, I actually really enjoy the game. It's very fresh. As someone who's been playing from Demon Souls many years ago, as I'm sure a few of you guys have as well, or in fact a lot of you guys, I know you love it. It's very fresh. It's nice to have something so fun. It's energetic. It's fast. It's fast as hell. It's the fastest game that they've released in terms of playstyle, in my opinion. It's faster than Bloodborne and Sekiro. I'm just thinking about that. I did in fact get round to playing Sekiro in the end, by the way, guys. So you should be proud of me with that. I have played them all now. But it's exhilarating. You feel like constant rush, and it's adrenaline non-stop. It's so much fun. Granted, there is a few issues there. Of course, the story is it's interesting. There's a little bit to go on, but it's not as deep as your Elden Rings or your Bloodborns or Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. The combined storyline there, for example. But it mainly focuses on the gameplay, and I think that's pretty damn good.
at least for this kind of game, to be totally honest, where it's got to be very driven and focused on the principal objective that it's tried to achieve, and I think really going in deep on the gameplay aspect of things grants the game all kinds of favour. It really does need to be pushing in this kind of direction to work well. Now, moving on to a couple of issues.
They could add a bit more variety. I'd bring in bosses left and right, everywhere from all of the games. Bring Genichiro in from Sekiro if you want, though I'm not sure how that would play, but I'm sure you get my sentiment there. New maps as well. I'd like to see more variety there, but those are my main 2 gripes, albeit minor, because like I said, I had a ton of fun with the game, and in fact I still play it after finishing it. It's a great time. But if they really went into the roguelike aspect, going deeper and deeper and deeper with the randomness, with the maps, more shifting worlds, more bosses of course, it really could be something extraordinarily special. Now, the way it's been received has been kind of split from what I've been reading online. Some people tend to believe that crossplay could be a good idea, and I couldn't agree more. In fact, crossplay would be great for people who are, of course, on different systems, who have friends who like the games on another system, and they would have a great time partnering up together there. But I think overall it's kind of minor stuff. Personally, I just play with randoms anyway, and that's fun enough for me. Sometimes you get a little unlucky, but hey, it is what it is. And voice chat, that would be very interesting in a game like this. I'm sure there'd be a lot of rage down the microphone, but those tend to be the biggest outlying issues that I've heard people mentioned, I think it's kind of minor. The game's a ton of fun, and it clearly seems to be a little bit of an experimental title because they've never done anything like this before. It plays totally different. It's kind of like a PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds or Fortnite, if you will, in terms of the style. Although a lot of you will not like to hear that comparison to a Souls game, but hey, that's the style that they're going for here. But with that being said, I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. Any other issues or things that you like about it, that could really be interesting. Personally, I'm a fan. It's fresh, it's clean, it's very good, in my opinion. Moving on from that, it kind of raises the question, where do From Software go in the future with this? They've of course got the Duskbloods that has been announced, and I was actually going to talk about a potential Bloodborne 2 later here, but I guess this is it. It looks very much as though it is akin to Bloodborne. It's the grandchild of Bloodborne. I would have liked a Bloodborne 2, something to really expand that universe more. We've only got the one game to go off, and of course the DLC, which was masterfully created. And the issue arises as well, the Duskbloods will only be on the Switch too. Now, as somebody who's only recently bought the first Switch, I'm not sure if I'm going to be putting out for another one, to be totally honest, so maybe this will be the first FromSoft game since 2009 that eludes me. I'm not sure I'll end up picking it up because of that. No doubt there are many people of the same opinion there as well. As for the gameplay, we've really not got much to go on. We've only got the trailers. It seems to be getting kind of taken to the next level in terms of the whole technological weaponry and so on. I'm sure that could work fine, but there's really not enough for me to go on at the moment, and maybe I would need to play it first to see how it's all been established. And who knows, will it play like Night Rain, for example? Is that the direction that From Software are going? I have absolutely no idea. Or will it be more story-driven like Bloodborne itself, a single-player focused, despite the invasions and co-op, you understand. So yeah, the Duskbloods is really an interesting one, but it's good that Night Rain surprised me by being very, very good in my opinion. At least a ton of fun, I can say that at the least. So with those two titles in mind, what do they plan in the future from Software? Will it be more stuff like Night Rain and the Duskbloods? Because we know the original formula has been going on for a long time now, and I was glad to have a change, though no doubt it would be nice to at some point get another exceptional story-driven game, Elden Ring being the most recent one of course. But will the formula become stale in the end? Maybe it has for some already. I know it has waned a little bit, but they're still brilliant, brilliant games. Like, they're my favourite games of all time. But you understand, how can they be innovative enough to create something totally new while keeping the same fans interested in a certain playstyle and formula? I guess it's a double-edged sword there. But personally, it's a little bit hard to believe that they wouldn't have something else in the background, right? With Night Rain's release and the Duskbloods coming up, I personally believe that they've got something else in the background that is more story-driven again. I could, of course, be wrong. They might stick with this new formula, but I really can't see it with the success that they've achieved and built over so many years of releasing the Souls games and everything in between. Or maybe they won't. Will they just stop? Do you think it would last forever? Maybe for a time I did, but I'm not sure anymore. Maybe these kinds of games will just fizzle out, so to speak. Not entirely die, of course, but maybe they just won't release anything like that again. Nothing lasts forever, of course, although there is game companies that have released the same formula for decades and decades, but From Software are at that point now, and it's very interesting. As someone who's loved the games for so many years and adores all of them, it's I wouldn't say I'm concerned, but I'm very intrigued at this point in time for where From Software are going, and the question, what will we see next? From Software are quite an innovative company in terms of producing the game material, for lack of a better word. So maybe they'll just try and find something new entirely. I'm sure they won't fail us either way. They've produced endless great games. It's been a fantastic franchise and series of Souls games. And Sekiro, I don't class that as a Souls game. But despite it being great anyway, it is a lot of fun and very well made. I really wanted to share this with you guys and basically put my thoughts out there and see what you guys thought as well. Because I do feel as though it is potentially the most interesting time in terms of From Software's history and the games that they've produced. It could kind of go any direction. Maybe they'll keep both styles going.
But regardless of which direction they end up taking, I'm sure it'll be very exciting either way.
But nevertheless, this has been the State of Souls. I'll see you guys in the next one. This has been Beta Wolf, otherwise known as Matt. Goodbye.